All right, good afternoon, everyone. We'd like to welcome you to this webinar. This webinar is going to be introducing ABCDust control dust system from blasting, loading, hauling, crushing, and tailings ponds. And our presenter today is going to be Samuel Toledo of ABCDust. And again, I want to remind everybody that ABCDust is an approved project with the MICA network, and it's one of the 16 projects that we are approved. And throughout this month, we're going to be providing you some presentations of these approved projects. Now, here's some samples of the presentations that you'll be hearing about shortly. ABCDust, of course, is the one that's in yellow here. That's the one we'll be hearing next. But throughout the week, we'll be presenting all the ones you're seeing listed here on this table. So what I'd like to also do is ask anyone who is interested in submitting a proposal for the next round of MICA funding, which is now open. You can just take a picture of this QR code on your screen, and your phone will be able to tell you how to get to that link. All right, now it gives me great pleasure to introduce everybody here to Samuel Toledo from ABCDust, who's going to be presenting to us a presentation introducing ABCDust in how they control dust from blasting, loading, hauling, crushing, and tailings ponds. Samuel, the floor is yours. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Charles. A pleasure. Thank you, MICA, for supporting ABCDust project. ABCDust is a company specialized in smart dust control and soil stabilization. You see my screen properly, or do I have to change this?
Change that one, because we see your there you go.
Okay.
All right, perfect. Go ahead.
Perfect. Okay, so ABCDust is a company that develops a smart and dust control and soil stabilization solution, mostly focused in mining, but we have been receiving different requests from different industries. So there is so many applications for dust control outside mining, so it's very surprising and fun. And what we look to achieve is mostly to help mine workers and communities to get good quality of air and live longer, because mine workers, unfortunately, they live 10 to 20 years less, especially underground miners. They live 10 years less than average people. It's too sad, no? Because you see people that is dying 56, 60 years old. Nowadays, they may not even have been grandparents, like just because they were working on mining. And this is something that is completely solvable. We have the technologies, we have the capacities, we can solve this problem. And also for the mining companies, there's a lot of benefits of working dust free, not just giving long life to their workers, which they should, because safety is number one in mining, but you have to think safety long term, not just short-term accidents. If we solve this problem in the mines, they will be more profitable. And they will also reduce the social license hardship to get in some projects. That's the aim of ABCDust. We started initially in Chile. That's a mining country. So that was very challenging because we always had to compete with all the world, supply from the whole world, very competitive. So that forced us to develop very innovative and competitive solutions. And we always thought in this integral approach of controlling, monitoring, and optimizing the solution in order to reduce the consumption of additive, water, and related resources for suppressing dust and improving soil stabilization. What is the relationship between dust control and soil stabilization? In roads, especially when the road is not very stable and there is more dust and the road requires more maintenance. So a proper stabilized road will have less dust issues. So that's why dust control and soil stabilization, especially in roads, goes very well together. And this is the innovation cycle and the improvement cycle that we do. We customize additive based on the client site, type of soil, for weather and operational hardships. And once we customize the additive, we implement it on site, on the roads or crusher or different facilities. We monitor the performance with dust sensors. And we also, once we got a good efficacy of the suppressor, we also work with the controlled spraying system, either water irrigation bars or dry fog systems. And we are now offering real-time monitoring of these solutions with a management platform to optimize this solution in real time and to keep the things that work and get rid of the things that don't work. So at the cycle of 1 or 2 years, you're reaching 95, 99% of dust suppression with a very low cost of ownership. You see a lot of improvement. No? You see your maintenance needs reduced for robots or equipment or vehicles, because dust is very abrasive and gets in everything, gets into the filters, into the police of the conveyor belts, gets everywhere and gets into, most important, your workers' lungs, no? Which it shouldn't. So the project looks to improve this capacity of piloting and testing different additives and different for different requirements, different extreme weather conditions and extreme soils, like we have in the north of Canada, in the Arctic. Lately, we have been even receiving requests from to look at the dust in the moon and Mars. We're starting to make those type of questions, and we have to simulate different environments and weather conditions, and to test different additives to see which one is more efficient, and also to minimize the use of the additive and other components to reach the maximum dust suppression with the minimum resources. No? That's the innovation at the additive. And we're also working at the level of circularity, having always products that are safe and non-corrosive and biodegradable, that are environmentally friendly. That's a cornerstone of our innovation. Then we go to the other layer or innovation axis. That is the application method. If you have a good additive, a good solution, you have to apply it wisely. So for that, we work with dry fog system, a smart dry fog system with temperature controller, smart water track irrigation bars, smart dust control road pipelines, but always thinking in mining environment that the solution need to be sound and simple. Because if the solution have too many pieces and parts and components that can break down, they will break down, and then you don't have the spare parts, and then you have a piece of junk that is not working for 3 or 4 or 6 months, and that is not good for the productivity. No? So that's our focus or goal. We have a lot of hours on the site, and we know that solutions have to be very robust and easy to maintain and solve. So air quality and visibility measurements, sensors and devices. In order to be able to monitor and optimize the solution, we need to have good data, good integrity data. That's why we work with with the EPA guidelines and the NIOSH methodologies, using gravimetric multisamples that we have developed, combining the standard of the industry laser and multispectral sensors. And now we are working with image recognition algorithms and stereo cameras in conjunction with the Institute of National Optics in Quebec. And also we're working in the automation and artificial intelligence to forecast algorithms using weather data with operational data in order to say, okay, there is more risk of high dust concentration Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. due to air inversion. Then you have to increase your dust monitoring and dust controlling measures before, in order to avoid to have an environmental alert due to high dust concentration or airborne particles. We're looking at other technologies. The old project we have is around $3 million in between in-kind and nature contributions for 3 years. No? We are now working with other mining companies. They want to join our gym. I call it like a gym, the 99% dust suppression gym, where they want to work in a work programs of 1 to 3 years to reach a 99% dust suppression goal. It's like when you go to the gym, you want to get yourself fit. Those clients, they want to get fit in terms of air quality, and we are helping them out. No? We have already good success with Codelco in Chile. 1 or 2 of their mines, we have reached 95-99% of dust suppression and air quality on the roads, and now we are working on the same challenge for the crushers and other areas. We will have a pilot manufacturing line where we will be manufacturing up to 40,000 liters per month of the different additives to run different pilots and tests with different clients. These are the sensor assembly and prototyping we have in collaboration with Quantino, the incubator we're working with. This is a soil analysis and geotechnical lab with a environmental chamber, 3D printers, and mechanical assembly lines. No? We are working in solutions for the blasting, for the loading, hauling, crushing, tailings, for both open pit and underground mines. These are some of the lines of products. We have different additives, very good experience in haul roads and tailings additives for open pit mines. And we're looking to work in underground mines with these products. This is our monitoring equipment that comes with a GPS and accelerometer and gyroscope. We're able to localize that air quality with a very good data integrity. We use sensors that can go up to 400 milligrams per cubic meter, where we have measured around 120 milligrams per cubic meter in whole road, which is a lot of dust. And in crusher, we have measured around 2,000 to 3,000 milligrams per cubic meter using other lines of sensors in PM10, no? And around 400 milligrams in PM2.5. This equipment allows us to identify which areas of the mine are having more or less dust and optimize the dust suppression protocol. This is the management platform where we see the different rock segments and the maximum, minimum, average concentration and at the given time of the day. And with that data, we can optimize the frequency intensity of the different applications. And also help us to trace the water and additive consumption. And also in some cases, we have the input of the client, we can measure the stabilization benefits instead of fuel reduction that goes to CO2 reduction and helping the mine to reduce the CO2 emissions, which some of our clients have measured around 20% of fuel consumption savings by having the road more stable, having more stable roads. This is a gravimetric sampler. We take up to 24 samples for the whole day, or as we program it. There's a patent pending, and this is probably made in Canada. And we can take airborne pollution samples, also bacteria or virus samples. We just have to change the cassette. We send the samples to the lab, and then we get concentrations and the data what's inside the dust or the air pollutants, so we can calibrate these laser sensors and also the measures, the control measures. This is a sensor that now we are integrating with a camera to calibrate image recognition software, so to estimate dust levels with using image. But that sensor that can measure PM10, PM2.5, PM4, and other variables is a partnership with a company from UK that provides us the sensor. We are integrating it and optimizing its performance for our sites. This is our dry fog system, where we work with a temperature control dry fog system. We are being able to suppress 80 to 90% of the dust in the crushers. At a very large mine where we have around 300 tons dumped every 2 or 3 minutes. Yeah. The benefit of the temperature control, we can reduce a lot the water droplet and optimize the dust suppression. And also we're integrating with the dust monitor and camera to optimize the use of this sensor, of this equipment, saving more water and energy. By itself, it saves a lot of water and that's the suite of innovative and sustainable solutions. And we're always working in develop better products and services for our clients. Believe if you have any questions.
All right, Samuel, thank you so much for that detailed presentation. I mean, there's quite a few things that you're working on there that are quite interesting. One thing I wanted to ask you is just maybe for the audience, right? The approved project that you're working on, what would you say is going to be the most significant development that you're going to do with the funding that you're getting from MICA? Because I did notice that you've got a few different items that you have available. But if I just zoom in on the MICA project itself, what is maybe the biggest value that will come out of the MICA funding?
Is to industrialize and go deeper in the different axes in order to help our clients to suppress 99%, 99% of the whole site, no? Because dust is airborne, no? So if you have dust in the blasting and you're suppressing the dust in the road, the dust from the blasting will get to your road, no? Or in the loading. So as it is an airborne solution and it's transversal, you need to work in the different part of the mining process, no? In the blasting, loading, hauling, crushing, and tailing, in order to have 99% suppression of the site. Otherwise you have cross-contamination, no? The challenge is that most mines are organized like silos or superintendencies of department, no? So the guy that works on mine, he only cares about the roads. The guy that works in crusher, he only cares about crushers. And the guy that works in blasting, he only cares about blasting, and so on. And so everyone is optimizing their problem on their budget, but sometimes there is a lack of vision as a whole, no? of the problem. So having the different suite solutions, modular and integrated through a methodology and measure it, is a great value from MICA. And also the use of the data and approach to optimize the additive and the different measures for the different sites, because every mine is similar but at the same different in terms of the way they do mining, the place where do mining, and the type of rock and material that are working. There is a lot of little details that matters, because if you understand properly the geology, for example, I was very happy to see the project that were improving the geology analysis. If you're improving the geology analysis, you're crushing the right material and not crushing sterile material that you don't use. So by doing that, you're actually suppressing dust, because you are not crushing rocks that you don't need. So you're avoiding the dust at the source, for example. But
that's pretty neat, you know, because then you're offering a very holistic dust control system. You know, you're kind of looking at all the areas where dust is being produced and giving a solution that is very holistic. Okay, I'm going to open up the floor for other people to ask some questions. Please just unmute yourself and go ahead and ask the question.
Thanks, Charles. Samuel, you mentioned now how you need to take into consideration each process in the whole value chain of the mining system. Are there any biases that you've noticed with mine operators when you take this product or innovation to them? Are they interested in having this application on a specific part of the process, or are they open to having this applied to the whole system?
Mostly because the way they are organized, they have the different superintendents, and everyone have their own budget and their own KPIs. And sometimes they have a higher hierarchy problem. So there are not many cases where they want to work more in a holistic approach. No, they either want to work on the blasting problem or the hauling problem, and then sometimes they go step by step. No, they say, okay, we are gonna solve the hauling problem. Now it's solved. Now we want to solve the crushing problem, and so that's the approach some mines takes. So it changes a little bit from side to side, no, but you have to work with their budget, their KPIs, and the different clients areas, because in a mine you have like 3, 4, 5 clients. No, you got the guys from the tailings, the guys from the crusher, the guys from the roads, and the guys from the blasting. And most of them they treat dust as a environmental requirement. No? If there is not a regulation that forces them to do it, sometimes like might even make the production stop or reduce throughput, then they don't react. No, but there are other mines that they take very seriously, and they want to have a good stewardship. So they are moving ahead and they are doing interesting stuff. So it depends a lot on the mine culture and the company reputation they want to promote. No?
Excellent.
I got you.
Thank you for that answer, Samuel. Samuel, another question I have is concerning dust and ESG, right? There's been a lot of, people that I've met with say, the dust coming from the mine trucks is affecting their agriculture. In fact, I had a story in Chile, in Peru, sorry, where there was a mine that was running through a community and the dust from the trucks was landing on the fruits. And then because the fruits were being contaminated by dust, they were not able to sell the fruits on the open market. Can you just comment maybe on dust, agriculture, dust, and ESG, and how that all works together?
Sure. For example, we did a collaboration with the Institute of Cardiology in Quebec, and we took some samples of the dust we work with in one of the mine we are working at of the crusher, and we exposed it to land cell at the different concentration we found in the crusher. And we were surprised that after a couple of hours or a day, 50% of the cell had died, no? At that level of exposure. So that speaks volumes, no? To the point that if you have somebody working there without the proper protection, actually they are killing the lung cells, no? Of the workers. For sure, the nearby communities will receive less of that exposure. So that is cultivating silicosis, and lung cancer, even liver failure, kidney failure, because the dust accumulates. So you don't see the problem till you see it. It's like, for example, let's say the dishwasher. When the dishwasher gets too much material inside, it stops working. But it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. It suddenly stops. But the problem start accumulating silently. No? And the same happen with our internal organs. No? We start accumulating till one start malfunctioning and doing a failure, and they disequilibrate everything. That's at the human body. At the plant level, the dust goes on the leaf and reduce photosynthesis process. If you look now, as an example, the robot that we have on Mars is about to turn off because it has too much dust on their solar panels. The plants' leaf are like solar panels. When they have too much dust, they don't do photosynthesis as well. So that increase the fruit size, the food quality, and so on for the agriculture. And also it gets the dust from the mines have some metal sometimes, like might have some copper, might have some lead, might have whatever is on the mine, no? And they can sediment on water bodies like lakes or rivers, and those then you get mine drainage, no? Because of the dust pollution that is going and affecting water bodies that are maybe a lake or a river, and that lake or river can be feeding crops or the water supply of a village. So there is a whole holistic approach and impact, no? And also you should be very aware what type of solution you're using. Most mines, they tend to use salt to control dust, which makes the road slippery, but also increase the salinity level of the water and also of the soil, making those lands infertile, no? And affecting a lot of the plants and organisms. We only use biodegradable products that have no chlorides or very low chlorides and doesn't have that problem, no? Because the solution should be the solution itself should not cause you another problem. That's our approach. Okay,
thank you very much for that answer. Certainly opening up my eyes to just the impact that dust can have downstream on the community. I'm gonna again open up the floor for others to ask questions. Anybody another question? Please go ahead.
Well, yeah, definitely eye-opener, especially the stats that you shared, Samuel, on the life of a miner, being 10 years the average.
That's open pit mining. No, underground mining is
Underground.
20 years less. And the sad thing is that most underground mining they don't do much about dust, no,
Right.
because the dust that is underground, community doesn't see it, no, and they don't, if they don't have pressure from community to suppress dust, they put it like priority number 5, no?
Right. But and your application can be used for underground.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay, so I had a question on the your road monitoring systems.
Okay.
And what are those? What are the main advantages, and what can you say about its data integrity? I know you mentioned
Sure.
a bit of it in your
No,
slide.
we have found some mining using similar approach that we're working, but using low quality sensors. The problem with low quality sensors that you get low quality data, no? And you might get a heat map or an impression or an idea what is happening, but you don't get a good baseline, and you don't get a good measure of your improvement, no? Because one of the most used sensors in the industry, they can only read up to 6 milligrams, no, per cubic meter. In mining roads, we have found around 120, 135 milligrams per cubic meter when they are not treated. So if a mining company is doing a baseline and then committing themselves to reduce 95% of 98% of dust, and they are taking as a baseline 6 milligrams, is equivalent of trying to lose weight, but using your daughter weight as a reference, no? Instead of your weight. So it would be very frustrating, no? You would hardly reach out, but also you don't get a good idea when you're improving or not, because a lot of the time your sensor is just reading the maximum capacity, no? That's one thing. And the other thing is our solution is very robust and simple and integrates with other management platforms. We have a management platform that helps you to know what is happening, where is happening, and the forecast. But also the data can be shared with other management platforms that many mines are working with twins mines, etc. So it's we think a lot in the interoperability of the data, no? And the data integrity.
Okay. Thank you again, Samuel. Samuel, you know, we are reaching the end of our time here, but I do have one last question for you. And the reason I want to ask this question is when I went for a visit in South Korea, I was crossing a bridge and someone told me that the dust that I'm seeing on the bridge was coming from China. Okay. So my question for you, Samuel, is this dust that is coming from our mining operations, just how far is it traveling? Is there any way for you to be able to measure that or give us an idea on just how far the dust is going from mine sites?
Very far. I heard that there is an investigation on the back of the Rocky Mountains and Andes mining dust that could be impacting the corals in Australia, no? Like that. And also when there is a lot of strong winds in Africa, it impacts the crops in Brazil, no? And the rains. So that's especially PM2.5, no, that is lower than 2.5 microns. It can go thousands of kilometers away, no? And yeah, so that's why the best thing is to suppress the dust at the source, no? If you avoid the dust from happening at the beginning, then you don't have to deal with it, no? Then after you suppress at the source, if you don't suppress at the source, you have to try to contain it so it doesn't escape. If it escapes, then you have to try to catch it, like with the additive or droplets. If you cannot catch it, you have to protect yourself with max and with the dilution, no? But if everybody's betting on dilution, then you will have a lot of dust accumulating on rivers, lakes, and so on. So that's why, like a dilution is the solution for environmental pollution. Yeah, it doesn't run anymore because population grow, especially when you see the demand of mining materials for the energy transition, for going for having a battery car and a solar panel and wind energy. We will require. I was reading a report that said 50 times the proven reserve of copper. That means like making mines everywhere. I don't want to mine everywhere. I like mining, but not that much, you know.
Oh boy.
But if you have too many mines, or and everybody's betting on dilution for their environmental pollution, then we will have too much pollution in the world, no? And we cannot handle that. So that's why we have to take seriously the clean production of our minerals and in terms of dust and water and so on.
Gotcha. Well, Samuel, look, I want to thank you for your presentation. And I think the message is very loud and clear to our industry is we must suppress that dust at the source, right? Otherwise, we're dealing with trying to just fix a problem that is already out of our hands. So Samuel, what we're going to do here is, I think your information is already available here. Can you maybe switch over to the last slide with your contact details? They just give people another glimpse at your contact details in case they want to get a hold of you. But again, thank you so much, Samuel. And I think for those of you who know me, I do call Samuel the Dustman because he's #1 in dust suppression in my network right now. And I appreciate him for that. So Samuel, thank you for the presentation. Looking forward to reconnecting with you again.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you, Linese. Always a pleasure. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right. Okay, take care.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.